You find her nowhere to be found. You don't hear any cows. You're like, what is going on? You walk into the barn. This lady is in a cow costume. Like, everyone was using her milk. Everyone was drinking her milk. Like, it was actually so crazy to me. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. It has been a while since we've done a speed build on the channel. And yeah, so here it is. Business and Hobbies is finally out, and I decided to make a tattoo parlor. And you did read the title right. This build is in fact inspired by an NSFW game that I played like maybe 2 years ago. This is usually my favorite. Like, I love when a new pack comes out because I really like to explore the kind of like all the items that come with the blue build by. Like, as you see throughout this video, I'm gonna be filtering all the items by business and hobbies, and I'm gonna be using most of the things I use will be from the new pack, and I really enjoy that. Like, this is my favorite part of having a new pack, just building and like making an entire build using like mostly items from the new pack. And it was also really fun because tattoos, where I come from, tattoos are not really that common of a thing. Like, sure, there's some people that have tattoos here and there, but you don't really see, like, it's not really a common thing. And so, actually, sometimes it's actually looked down upon, sometimes, in some particular places. We did use the new brick from the new pack. And I wanted to, there was a door I planned on using, but I saw the new doors and I'm like, let's just use the new doors. One thing I noticed, through when I filtered the new pack to try and use the items from the new pack, I kind of realized that there weren't a lot. Like, usually we have a lot more items, like especially when an expansion pack comes out, but I feel like there weren't really much. Like, for comparison, I understand that this is a business and hobbies, so most of the items will be catered towards like what you would find in a business and whatnot. But usually we'll also have stuff just for like a normal house or something. But I felt like there weren't really that much items that came with this pack. Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. So as I was saying, tattoo parlors or like tattoos in general are not really common where I live. And while I was actually thinking about making this video, I saw the first tattoo parlor, like, and it was so close to my house too. I was like, how have I never noticed that? And while I was thinking about this video or thinking about this build, I literally like saw the first tattoo parlor I've ever seen in my entire life. And maybe that has always been there. Maybe that has always been there. We need a new garage door. That garage, I was like, that looks more like a barn. It doesn't really, like, we need garage doors. I know we don't have cars, but still, give us the garage doors, please. Anyways, so it was really fun, like, looking through Pinterest. I was looking through Pinterest, looking for ideas, and I really love the aesthetic. It's an aesthetic that I don't really use most of the time. So it's really fun to like kind of go out and get some inspiration from somewhere else. And the main inspiration, as you saw from the title, the main inspiration for this build is from a not safe for work game or an 18 plus game, a corn game, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it is it is from a game that I played like 2 years ago. And I will not be saying the name of the game. I don't want to put ideas I don't want to make you guys like search for it or something. I'm just gonna, like, if you know, you know, if you get it, you get it. But I'm not gonna say the name of the game. I will put the main character's picture on the screen right now. If you know, let me know in the comments. I really want to know which one of you have actually played that game before. Now, before we actually start, like, I did not go about like searching for this game. I think I was like my first year of university, and I just got my new laptop. And the only thing I had on this laptop was The Sims 4. I was so bored. You know how The Sims 4 is? Sometimes you want to play it for like 3 months straight, and sometimes you don't want to touch it for like half a year. That's just how The Sims 4 works sometimes. So I was in that phase. I had literally nothing to do, and I saw my roommate playing this game. It looked like a story game. It is a story game actually, and I was like, yeah, I want that. Like, I want to play that game. I didn't ask questions. I should have asked questions. So I collected a game I'm playing, and I should have known from when I saw the female characters and their, you know, sizable, you know, I should have known what type of game it was. I should have known. And basically, it's a story game. There is a story in the game, but the main goal of the game is basically to have woohoos with every single character you can find. And I tell you, by the time I stopped playing that game, like, it's just wild. It's just so crazy to me that games like that exist. And one thing I didn't really know Like the same way I'm making content for The Sims 4, people are making content for that kind of game. When I found out about this, I was so flabbergasted. I was like, whoa, I did not know the world I was living in. It was so crazy to me. And another thing that really really like baffled me was how cool, like how much everyone, like a lot of people I knew about this game. Like I would be playing this game and someone would walk into the room and I would like shut down the laptop and they were like, "Oh, I know that game." And they're like, "Oh, is that's old news? Like you don't need to." And I was like, "How are you guys so comfortable playing this kind of game?" And I would be watching like the scenes, the woohoo scenes are very graphic. So graphic. And I would like kind of like cover my eyes or like skipping past. Every other person looks at this with their full chest. Like they're not looking away, they're looking at everything. They're watching it in slow-mo. I'm like, whoa, you guys have you guys have you guys are way stronger than I am. So where this tattoo parlor comes from, so the main character, he just lost his dad, sadly, and he moves in with his dad's friend. So he has to go back to school eventually, and he's failing a lot of his classes. So there's this girl, she's a blue haired girl, really cool, loved her. So she was getting made fun of by a group of girls, and the main character stands up for her. They become friends, and eventually they like start crushing on each other and they start dating. So she takes you over, you go over to her house, and this is where she lives. So her sister, the blue haired girl's sister, runs the tattoo parlor, and you also meet the sister's best friend. And you later find out that the sister's best friend is a vampire, and the sister's best friend is also in love with the sister, and you're gonna help them get together. But then you also get to get you're also gonna get together with both of them. It's crazy. It's so insane. One thing that really baffled me about this game, on the home screen, on the menu, there's something they call the gallery, and it's basically a collection of all the woohoo sessions you have throughout the game. Sometimes you have multiple with multiple people, multiple scenes. Some characters have one scene, and it just gets so wild. It just gets so wild. One that was really wild to me. So you're trying to get a bit of money, right? There's this lady who she tells you like, oh, you can earn money, but you have to like work on her like garden. So you're working her garden, and you're just like harvesting vegetables and whatnot. It's like a mini game thing. So eventually she moves into like the house you're staying at because they're doing construction at her house. They're building a barn at her house. So eventually the barn's done and she goes back to her house, and now you're no longer like harvesting vegetables, now you're delivering milk. Obviously, you assume that the barn was for like cows or something. So one day one day someone orders milk, like from around the town, someone orders milk, and you go over to like make the request. Oh, like this person needs milk. You find her nowhere to be found. You don't hear any cows. You're like, what is going on? You walk into the barn. This lady is in a cow costume. She's in a full-on cow costume, basically making the milk. I don't want to go any farther than that because I don't know how much it's gonna get by on this video. And what's really funny to me is that she full on got a monopoly on milk. Like I think that like everyone was using her milk. Everyone was drinking her milk. Like it was actually so crazy to me. So back to the where the inspiration came from. So it's a tattoo parlor, and there are a lot of, that's why I have a not really a, yeah, I guess it is a color theme. So it's not brick, it's definitely not brick, but since the pack came with this nice red brick, I decided to use it, and I love me a brick, love me an industrial brick build, love that for me. So I really enjoyed building this. So there's a lot of red, a lot of black, and I was really disappointed. Like I know in the gameplay trailer, your character who's a tattoo artist can make like samples, designs and put them on the wall. But I was kind of expecting to see some of those designs like in build by, but I didn't see any. And that's why like the walls do seem a bit bare, but I do try to fill them out with like shelves and stuff. But I was really disappointed that I couldn't get one like tattoo designs to put on the walls. So this game, oh my god, this game was, it was so insane. It was so insane. There was also like you get with like mothers, you get with mothers and their daughters. You get with, oh my god, like it's so insane. And like remember I said like the main character moved in with his father's friend to like stay with them. And I think that the whole point of this lady was to feed into the whole stepmom stepsis kink, but they didn't want to like really go into it because they made these characters look exactly like the main character. So there's like the lady's daughter, and they all look so similar that when I didn't know that she was just a friend, I thought that was his mother. I thought that was his mother because they looked so alike. And obviously, they had the whole thing of the stepmom, stepsis. Oh, it was so weird. I don't even want to talk about it. There was also this guy. So the main character works at a pizza shop for a while, and he works at a pizza shop for a while, and the his boss finds out that he won't be able to have kids. So he chooses you to be the father of his kids, and basically you have woohoos with his wife in front of him, and it's a wild journey. I'm not even gonna get into it. So I decided to go. I wanted to go for just a tattoo parlor, but then I realized I didn't know what to fill the spacing with. So it's kind of like a tattoo parlor slash lounge. So there's a little bar area. I love this cute bar. I did not know how to use it. I did not know how to use it because it's curved. I was like, do I put it against the wall? Do like how do I use this? I'm not sure if it's gonna be playable. I'm not sure if Sims can fit back there. Like as you can see, I filter business hobbies and I'm just looking through items. And if I see an item I like, I just find a place to put it. And I don't like do it systematically. So we have a little public bathroom for the customers. I wanted to use the stall, but then we didn't really have much space. And I could have just expanded, but I didn't want to. And I just thought it would look more natural. I thought I wanted to make it seem like it's a house, like it wasn't built for a business. It's a house, and then they kind of renovated the down floor to make room for their little business. So in this game, the blue haired girl's sister, their parents passed away, and so she has to take care of her. So she runs the tattoo parlor on her own. And then the sister's friend, the vampire one, she's like a goth chick. If I don't know if I'm feeling like adventurous. If I'm feeling adventurous, I'll put up like the characters' pictures on screen. But if I might decide against them. And I like that we did get a little bit of clutter with the inks. But then apart from these inks and that little item on the desk, I didn't really find much, and I was kind of disappointed by that. I was just kind of disappointed by the items. I'm not gonna lie. I was really finding it hard to find a rug. Like I wanted to put something there and I want to put like I wanted to make it like slanted. I thought of like adding like another rug to kind of like make it look like not too because I don't like when things are like super organized. It makes it look fake. So I wanted to look as if it's actually been lived in. So I wanted to add in like a slanted rug. But at the end of the day, I do change that. I didn't like it at the end. And I wanted to add a little bit of grunge. And as you can see on the sides, I left in the industrial windows because I felt like I was like maybe they just like made the front look good. Maybe they're not like there yet where they can renovate the whole build. So they've just made the front look really good and the sides are a little bit crusty and musty. So we have the little not PayPal, Apple Pay thing on the side, and I wanted to go for the one that is vandalized, obviously just for a bit of character, to add a bit of character. Loved the bookshelves. Loved the bookshelves. They're actually really cute. And I like the fact that they're really thin. I like me a thin bookshelf. I don't want a thick bookshelf, you know? A thin one will do. And I do realize that the build I did go with, it did not allow me to really like use a lot of the items. But as you can see, I'm scrolling through and it's really upsetting me that I just felt like the items weren't enough. The build buy it's just not enough. So I ended up moving the rug under the microphone thing. So we can have like talent shows, we can sit around, watch anyone can play the guitar, you know, just have a fun time. We like it's not solely a tattoo parlor. And as you can see there's a single bed, so like yeah. Okay, so then we move on to the garage, and in their garage they had this little like messed up sofa. So that's why I put this sofa in the garage. And also because I didn't find space to make a living room upstairs. So I decided like, why don't we just make the living room why don't you just make the garage the living room or something like that? Ended up going for the basement treasures. The basement treasures couch. I love me a basement build. I love me a basement build. I love to place these little boxes and like this little wall decals, like decay. Oh, I love it so much. You have no idea how satisfying it is. I wish I could have cluttered the build a bit more. This item, that king with life and death. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how much I love this item. I love a grungy build so much. I love when it looks old. I love when it looks like not like it's on a real estate website. I love when it looks really, really old. So right now I'm looking for a car. And while I was planning this build, I don't know why, but I fully believed that we had motorcycles in the game. Like I know we don't have cars, and I feel like it's not something that is even gonna happen like anytime soon. Because as you know, some lots don't have like a consistent road network. Some worlds don't have a consistent road network. Like imagine a fucking Lamborghini going through Hemford and Bagley. There are just some worlds that it wouldn't make sense. But me personally, I feel like that doesn't even matter to me. Like I want to see my sim get into their car, roll out of the garage, and you can go into a loading screen. I don't mind loading screens really. I just to feel that yeah, my celebrity sim owns a car. My celebrity sim owns a Lamborghini. I want to see them enter the car. You can go into a loading screen after that, but I want to see that. But then I was thinking, I was like, if we're not gonna get cars in the game, like why don't we get motorcycles? Like that's perfectly doable, right? I love how I put the little stain in the corner because there's always a weird stain in public bathrooms. Like they might not be dirty, but it's always a weird stain somewhere. Anyway, so back to the motorcycles. I was like, we could definitely use the same pathing as we have in bicycles, but the animations would be different. And I also saw a lot of people were kind of missing a feature in The Sims 3 where you could kind of like fix up cars like an auto mechanic and you can kind of fix up cars. And that would just be so cool. Like we all know those Disney movies where she's not like other girls, you know? She knows a lot about motorcycles. Her father taught her about motorcycles. Her father taught her about cars. She knows a lot about cars. And it would just be so fun to do that, like to be able to fix up a car or something. Or sorry, a motorcycle. Because I feel like we're not getting cars. But motorcycles are perfectly are like motorcycles are very like they're so doable in The Sims right now. I feel like it's something that we could easily do in The Sims. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like we should have motorcycles. Maybe if we eventually get a bands, like I know everyone's thirsting for a band pack. Maybe if we eventually get a band slash musician pack, we can get motorcycles. I feel like that would be a nice addition. If anyone from EA is watching this, please give us motorcycles. I said it here first. I just tried my best to use all the items from the new pack. I'm not sure if I'm really happy with the stairs option, but I just put it in anyways. And then we have a little, I don't know what it's called, but I feel like I've heard Deli call it a galley kitchen, where like the counters are like on parallel lines. So that is what we have right here. I mean, we are gonna have one room. I know the inspo for this build in the game, they like it's her and her sister that live together, so they have two rooms. But the floor plan was kind of looking a little bit cramped up, and I wanted an open space build, so I only have one room with a double bed. I just remembered something really weird from that game I was talking about. So, so like when I stopped playing the game 2 years ago, I'm sorry, when I stopped playing the game 2 years ago, the part where I stopped in the game in the storyline for some reason I was breaking into the Trumps. I was breaking into the President Trump's house. Obviously, he wasn't called President Trump. He was called like Grump or something. But I was breaking into his house, and Melania, or like I don't know what her name was in the game, but his wife, she basically made the main character wear like a thong, and then Ricardo also worked for her. If you don't know who Ricardo is, honestly, you need to I don't know what to do for you. You just need to go to Pop University. I will put this is Ricardo right here. Now you know. So he's in the game for some like the game is just so unhinged and so crazy. So you're breaking into the Trump household for some reason because he's walking. He's working with the Koreans. So Mr. John Un or whatever the North Korea guy's name is also in the game. And I'm like, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like, what is going on right now? Is this even safe to talk about? I feel like I'm gonna have like my name on a hit list after this, but it's so weird. So the story of the game, I think like your dad didn't just die at an accident. He was actually murdered because he knew had information about the Koreans or like John Un working with Trump and blah blah blah. And Trump was running for mayor. It's crazy, okay? It's so insane. For the room, I kind of thought, sure, the build has a lot of. You can see how frustrated I am because I look at the decorations. I go to the decoration section and there's nothing. There's actually nothing in the decoration section. And I felt so bad because I felt like was I looking at something wrong? Was I like doing something wrong? Was I not filtering it properly? But there was actually nothing in the decoration section. And it is so sad seeing that the content is getting way less and less and less. And I do know people are planning on or like people are currently boycotting The Sims 4, but like for me, it is something that is so hard because first of all, um, I am chasing or like looking for or going after a career, and it all started with Sims 4 when I started playing the game. So it is kind of hard for me to just stop loving the game. I really, really love the game, and I do wish the Sims would just like do better. They would just do better. And I know everyone's always like, oh, like let's just stop with The Sims 4 and let's move on to The Sims 5. And I really do want The Sims 5, but then at the same time, there's just so much that The Sims 4 doesn't have that it really should. And I like it's actually a very sensitive topic for me because this is like this is the only thing I could think of myself doing like in terms of YouTube. Like I do plan on like maybe streaming later on, playing some like fun games on stream. And maybe that will be a reality someday. But for now, all I can think of myself doing is playing The Sims 4. Like if The Sims 5 comes, I'm not even sure I'm gonna be able to afford it or like get it in like anytime soon. So it is really scary to me, the state of The Sims 4 right now, and I wish they would just do better. So for the bedroom, I ended up going for a light vibe. Like the whole house that has a very dark, gothy vibes, and the characters in the game are kind of gothy, I would say. Like the sister has red hair. The blue haired girl, yeah, she has blue hair, and she dresses kind of alternatively. Love her. So that's the vibe of the whole house. But I decided to go for like a lighter bedroom, like just to brighten up the place a little bit. So I'm gonna add this little seating area, and it upset me so much that the light wasn't like directly above the table. Like I think at this point I'm like an hour into the build, and one thing about me, I really should stop this. But one thing about me is when I do something like for a particular amount of time, I'm like, let's just throw anything on there and like call it a day. Like sometimes when I'm editing a video, I edit like halfway through and I'm like, no one's gonna watch. No one's gonna watch the remaining half of the video anyway. So like, let me just chop 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 and just get to the end of this video. And I really should stop doing that. I should instead just like stop and like continue another day. But I have a like a time limit. So at this point I'm just like looking through. I'm like anything. Just give me anything to fit on this table and I'm gonna move on. And I eventually find a stack of plates. I have no reason why they should be there, but I just throw them on there anyways. And the table is quite small. It is quite small. I thought I was gonna find something small enough to put on it, and I eventually put the stack of plates and a candle. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know like the choices that came into that, but that's what I eventually did. And I was like my stairs disappeared, and I couldn't place them. I couldn't. I just couldn't place stairs anymore. So I was really confused, and I eventually went. Like I was so confused. Like why did the stairs just disappear? If you noticed like how the stairs like just disappeared, please let me know because it still confuses me till this day. And I had to create like a little nook down there to make the new stairs. Okay, so this is actually it was actually a mistake making the living room make it the garage the living room. I looked up at the bill. I put some music in the like work area. I was looking up and I was like, there is actually no space for a living room. I have just forgotten to put in the living room. So I'm like, let's just make the garage. Like it already has a sofa. Let's just make it the garage. So I put in a little boom box, and then I had this bright idea of putting like a TV on like the car. So I eventually decided that I'm just gonna make the garage the living room. I'm just gonna put everything a typical, or like maybe not a typical living room, but I'm just gonna make the garage the living room. So I put in a little boom box, and I also put some music in the work area or like the business area. And I had this bright idea of putting the TV on the car. And I was like, ah, you are so smart, darling. Because I watched this back and I was like, I thought of that. I actually thought of that. Okay, so now this part of the build has a little bit of lore. So has a little bit of lore. So this tent up here is where you and the blue haired girl have your first time woohoos. And it was really funny because at this point you make a choice if the blue haired girl, I think her name's Eve. I don't really remember. I played this game like 2 years ago, but I'm gonna call her Eve from now on. So this is where you choose if Eve is trans or not. And I remember I remember my friends and like my roommates. I picked out like because every other character, every other female character, every other partner that the main character has is cis. So I'm like, let this girl be trans. Like just a bit like that's one thing. Like for me, games I love that's why I love me an occult game. Occult game? No, I love me an occult pack because I live for something that doesn't exist in real life. Like you're not gonna find me being a human in a fantasy RPG, never. Because I want to be different. I want to do something different. So I remember they were all like, ew, ew, and I was like, no, you're being transphobic in my comment. Like, don't bring that here. And yeah, I did choose for Eve to be trans. It was a really interesting experience, and it really pissed me off because I have this one friend, and I remember I introduced my friends to Skyrim, and I know we are talking about like what characters we're gonna play in Skyrim, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a dark elf, I'm gonna be a red guard or something like that, and I'm gonna major in like I don't know like destruction magic. One of my other friends were like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a high elf. I'm gonna go into alteration." One of my other friends like really into conjuration. And I'm like, we're just having fun. And then this bitch, this bitch really comes out with his full chest. And I love his confidence, love that for him. But comes up with his full chest and says he's gonna be a human. And not only that, he was so excited too. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a human. I'm gonna fight with a sword." I'm like, "Girl, do you like you really thought you ate that?" And he was talking about how, oh, like being a human is gonna make it more difficult. And I'm like, "Oh my God, you are so boring. You are so boring." And he literally does this too. And the way he says it like we're the one that like we're the boring ones. He's like, "Oh my God, like magic?" Oh my God, magic in a fantasy RPG? I'm gonna be a human being. And it's so funny to me. And I remember there was this because I love me a roleplay game. So I found this like AI roleplay game, and basically it's AI. So you can basically be anything, you can do anything. And in my story, I'm a frost mage. One thing about me, I will always be a mage. Find me in any game. If I'm to play like Dungeons and Dragons, I'm gonna be a mage. Like that is just me. So I'm a mage. I find this goddess thing, this ancient mushroom being that protects nature, and like we fall in love, and it's like it's crazy. It's a crazy story, and they're like shadow creatures and stuff. This boy really comes up and he's like so excited. He's like, "Oh my God, read my story, read my story, read my story." I read his story. He's a man with a dagger. Like, where's the tea? Where's the And I sometimes I feel bad like thinking about like well like he's so boring. Like he's like the most basic like when you think of the word boy, he's the most basic I was about to say man, he's not a man in my eyes. He's the most basic boy ever. Like ever. He's the most basic boy ever. And he was like he really thought he ate that up. He was like, "Oh my God, like I'm a rogue." I'm like, "Okay, so what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I have a dagger." I'm like, "Girl, girl, I'm literally conjuring ice arrows out of my I'm basically Ash from League of Legends. I'm conjuring ice arrows and like I don't know, like shooting shadow creatures. You're chasing thieves with a dagger and you have stealth. You have stealth abilities. Like that is so boring. But I would never say anything because I I'm just gonna keep shut. Like that's just what I'm gonna do. So I literally sit down there, read this boring long. It was so long too. Read this boring ass AI generated story or like AI generated roleplay of him with his knife and he joined a gang of thieves. I'm like, oh my god, like can you take your phone, please? Take your phone away from me. Like take your phone away from me. And I had this other friend. I had this other friend, and his story, he was a fairy with the power of probability, which it's not like it's like crazy. It's like crazy to me, but like at least it was something different, you know? At least it was something unique. Like he had the power of probability and basically his powers is, oh, I'm getting into a fight. You have the probability to beat me like 0%. I'm like, oh my god, girl, you're so boring. You're so boring. Anyways, apart from that, if you're wondering why I have a nectar machine in the back, so basically there's someone in this NSFW game, and he farms puff-up plants in the backyard. And yeah, so now I'm trying to like allocate like the residential and public, but like for some reason the upstairs you can't allocate anything to it. So I was kind of confused by that. If you know how that works, please let me know in the comments. But I was really proud of this build. Like I'm so proud of this build. I love it so much. Like it's so cute. Like especially at the front. I was really proud of the front too. I love it so much, especially in the like it looks so good. It looks so good. I'm so proud of him. I never remember, but I will try to put this build on the gallery. I will try. That took so long. That took so long. I was stuck in ever since I updated the game. My game has been so whack. I was in the loading screen for like so long and like it's not even like running properly. Probably it's not even running properly. So this is the build as I was saying. And look, it looks so good. It looks so good in here. I wish we did have more samples of tattoos to put on the walls, like somewhere here. But sadly, that didn't come with the pack. I felt like they just didn't see it like important to put that in the pack. So I'm gonna show you what I was talking about. So let's filter by business and hobbies. Let's go to all. And there are a lot of cute stuff. Let's scroll down. That's it. Okay, I'm literally gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 rows of items. Let's compare it with like the oh my god, my whole game just froze. Let's say Get to Work, you know? Like Get to Work was one of like the OGs, or let's say City Living. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26! 26 rows of items. Let's go high school years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 rows of items. Now, I don't know, but like, I just feel like there should have been more. There should have been more. We're lacking. We're lacking behind. Again, Love Struck, 14 rows of items. Like, it's getting like, after growing together, like, you know what, like they're not even like bad packs. Life and Death was good. Love Struck was good. For Rents, there were some issues, but it was alright. Horse Ranch, could have been a game pack. But after growing together, things just went so downhill. And it just makes me really sad to see. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. If you recognize the characters or you have played the game I was talking about today, make sure to let me know in the comments. I really want to know which one of you guys has played the game or if you guys recognize the game. Um, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe. And YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video. I don't know why, but see you there, right? And I'll catch you guys over there. Bye!